In this report, I'll share the estimated cost to retire early in Luang Prabang, Laos, including rent, utilities, groceries, restaurants, transportation, and other expenses. I will also share a more typical middle range living cost estimate. As I share what I've learned with my feet on the ground here, I'll show you the pictures I took of this lovely city. My last visit to Luang Prabang was 9 years ago. Chung was not with me on this trip. She went home to visit her niece and nephew. Like most of the world, the national boundaries of what is now known as Laos have been redrawn over thousands of years, as have its forms of government. Luang Prabang was assigned its present name by the 𝐂𝐓 king of Cambodia in 1359. The 𝐂𝐓 king gave Luang Prabang to his son-in-law to spread Theravada Buddhism in the new kingdom. Theravada Buddhism teaches that Buddha knew he was a man, not a god, and that Buddha's goal was for all people to achieve what he did during his life, the liberation and suffering caused by the human mind. Many in the West now call this state of being present moment awareness. The name Luang Prabang has lasted until today, despite continued internal and external conflicts with Vietnam, France, Japan, the USA, and others. During the French colonial period from 1893 to 1953, Luang Prabang was the capital. During the Vietnam War, Laos became the most heavily bombed country per capita in the world. In 2016, the U.S. acknowledged that the bombs were trying to interrupt the military supplies to the North Vietnamese along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. During the French colonial period, Luang Prabang became a center of French culture and food. As you wander around this beautiful city, you'll see, feel, and taste the French influences. The French breads and architecture have been mostly preserved in Luang Prabang. For that reason, Luang Prabang has been honored as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its unique and well-preserved city center since 1995. I will share my retirement desirability factors such as visa, medical, walkability, internet, food, weather, things to do, social considerations, expat community, real estate, and my overall retirement desirability score. But first, I want to share my estimated cost of living converted into US dollars if the two of us move to Luang Prabang year-round on a tight budget. But I'll also include more typical middle-range expenses that other expats might spend so you have a more typical data point. Okay, estimated cost to retire in Luang Prabang, Laos. Rents. I found this 2-bedroom home online today for $200 US per month for a 1-year lease agreement outside the central area. I would want to be closer to the city and would expect to pay around $350 to $500 a month, depending on size and location. If you rent for a shorter period of time on Airbnb, it would be much more expensive. Other middle-range expats would typically pay more like $650 to $800 per month, depending on the size and area of the place they stay. Here's the process we use to find great apartments. So we will show you a table of all expenses in a moment. We'll use $400 per month for our lower rent estimate and $750 per month for the middle cost of living rent estimate for expats who want a little better place. If you're willing to drive a scooter or car 15 to 30 minutes outside of Central, you could easily save 20 to 30%. Okay, utilities. We estimate that the year-round average for our utilities would be about $60 US per month. The utilities would cost more for the larger space, starting at around $90 US per month. By the way, you don't need to take notes. The full written report is at the first link in the notes below this video. Okay, groceries. When possible, we would purchase fruits and vegetables from the public markets, small shops, and street vendors to save money. But we would also shop in grocery stores for non-perishable foods and other things like shampoo and detergents, we estimate about $350 per month for groceries. Other expats are likely to shop more often in expensive grocery stores, often spending more like $500 per month on groceries. Restaurants. We would eat out twice per week, mostly in more local-style restaurants a few blocks back from the tourist areas for about $5 to $8 per meal per person, and 1 or 2 splurges per month of $12 to $18 per meal per person. If you add all that up, we would spend around $280 a month for the two of us in restaurants. We may have a beer here and there, but that's covered below in alcohol. Other expats are likely to eat more often at expensive expat-style restaurants and less in local-style restaurants, so they would likely spend more like $400 per month for 2 people in restaurants. It is lifestyle dependent. Cell phone data. The cost to get a prepaid SIM card for your unlocked phone with about 15 gigabytes of data is about $12 per month. Other expats are likely to buy 2 SIM cards, so they would spend $24 per month. Laundry. We sent out laundry for wash, dry, and fold for about $6 per week, so $25 per month. Drinking water in 18-liter water bottles costs about 20 kip each, or about $1 per bottle, so we would drink about 6 of those per month, or $6. Internet, 80 megabits per second up and down is about $22 for in-home Wi-Fi. Transportation. Public transportation costs about $60 per person for a monthly pass, but we would probably buy an old scooter for about $800 and spend about $30 a month in gas. Other expats might buy a small car for around $4,000 and spend about $70 per month in gas. Okay, alcohol, optional. Domestic beer, beer Lao, in the convenience stores are about 16 kip, which is about 75 cents US, and double or triple that in bars and restaurants. So we estimate about $100 per month on alcohol for the two of us. Many other expats would spend a higher amount for imported foreign or craft beers in convenience stores, bars, and restaurants. So we estimate about $250 per month for 2 people, assuming they do not drink imported whiskey or wine. Entertainment, which is optional, of course. We would budget about $200 per month for entertainment for the two of us. We generally enjoy doing more do-it-yourself kinds of entertainment, so other expats would spend a little more, maybe $300 per month for 2 of them. Okay, let's add it all up. Estimated costs to retire in Luang Prabang. For the lower estimates, rent $400, utilities $60, groceries $350, restaurants $280, cell data $12, laundry $25, drinking water $6, internet $22, transportation $30, for a total basic cost of $1,185 a month for the lower costs. Add alcohol of $100, put you at $1,285. Entertainment of $200 will put you at $1,385 a month. With the increased middle costs of rent, groceries, and other higher expenses would put your basic costs at $1,887 a month, with alcohol $2,137 and entertainment $2,437 a month. I gathered this data with my feet on the ground here in March of 2025, so adjust for inflation after that. The above lower estimated cost of living would be if the two of us lived in Luang Prabang on a tight budget, but we are not typical. The middle estimate is just an example of what more typical expats might spend if they moved here. However, these examples of the cost of living are not your estimated cost of living. To understand what it would cost you to live here, you must put your feet on the ground, see how you would choose to live, eat, and entertain yourself, and add it all up. It doesn't matter what anyone else spends because we are all different. More typical expat living costs in Luang Prabang range from about $1,500 to $2,800 per month, but people spending that much often have higher savings, incomes, or pensions. They often report spending more on accommodations, entertainment, eating out more, traveling, and alcohol. Many also have more expensive cars, houses, and apartments. Okay, Luang Prabang livability factors. Before you move anywhere outside your home country, make sure to create a list of things that you must have for your happy retirement. Here are my livability factors, and I will rank each as high, medium, or low before assigning an overall retirement desirability score to Luang Prabang. Walkability. This ebook shares the 3 big mistakes that expats make when they retire overseas. To get a free copy, either scan this QR code with your smartphone or click the second link in the notes below this YouTube video. To Luang Prabang. Walkability, I would say high. I walked everywhere in Luang Prabang because it is the former capital of Laos during the French colonial period, and because it has been so well preserved, I really enjoy just walking everywhere. Plus, walking is the healthiest way to stay in shape as we age. Internet, I would say high. The in-home Wi-Fi in my guest house was 58 megabits per second down and 42 megabits per second up. Good enough for me to do Zoom calls and upload YouTube videos. My cell phone works well as a hotspot whenever I need connectivity for my computer outside the home. Okay, food, I would say medium. Luang Prabang was our 3rd stop in Laos, and it seemed to have more international tourists, which has pushed prices up in restaurants compared to other less touristy cities visited in Laos. Consequently, there are many international restaurant choices, but the prices are 20 to 30% higher. You can still find some local dishes in local family-owned restaurants with reasonable prices. You'll find those a few blocks back from the main tourist areas. Okay, weather, I would say medium. Daily highs average 82 Fahrenheit, which is 28 Celsius in December, up to 96 Fahrenheit or 36 Celsius in April. Nightly lows average from 58 Fahrenheit or 14 Celsius in January to 75 Fahrenheit or 24 Celsius in June for nightly lows. The best weather is from November to March. The rainy season lasts from May to October, with August typically receiving the most rain. Things to do, I would say medium. Luang Prabang has river cruises, waterfalls, 4-wheeling around the country back roads, yoga, martial arts, volunteer development work, fishing, kayaking, bar hopping, dining, cooking classes, bamboo weaving, mountain biking, coffee shops, people watching, day and night markets, foodie tours, walking, and regional travel to Vietnam, China, and Thailand. Okay, social considerations, I would say high. English is widely spoken in Luang Prabang. Most tourist-facing businesses have English speakers, especially in central Luang Prabang. If you intend on retiring here, you should learn some common phrases for a fuller life. I have met many expats overseas who have used Duolingo, a free language learning smartphone application, to learn various languages. Okay, safety considerations. All of the expats we met living in and around Luang Prabang say they feel perfectly safe here. The U.S. State Department issues travel advisories for each part of the world, which you should be aware of. Laos is level 2 right now. Exercise increased caution. The advisory mentions parts of Laos where exercise increased caution is advised, but Luang Prabang was not listed in the advisory at the time of this report. Laos is ranked 49th on the Global Peace Index for 2024, which is much safer than the US, which is ranked 132nd in the world. Here are my thoughts on how to remain safe all over the world. Link provided. Okay, expat community. I would say medium. There are a couple of Facebook pages that cater to expats living in Laos or Luang Prabang. Make sure to respect people's time by searching for questions already asked and answered before typing your questions into these Facebook pages. Expats use these pages to make friends, find doctors, find visa agents, find rentals, find restaurants, and find people with common hobbies. Medical. I've not been to the clinic or hospital in Luang Prabang, but an expat there gave me the name for this clinic for daily care. Link provided. There are also 2 hospitals listed in Luang Prabang. As usual, hospitals in a town this size may not have the advanced care you would expect in the capital city or in Bangkok or Hanoi, for example. In that case, they may just stabilize you and then transfer you to a more appropriate facility. If you decide to move here, make sure to ask around for referrals and establish relationships with doctors for your special needs based on the feedback you have gotten from others who have used their services. The above expat Facebook pages may be a good source for that sort of information. Also, the best insurance prices and coverage are often local. Get a few quotes from local insurance agents you find by asking expats on the Facebook pages mentioned above. Tourist visa. I would say hi. In general, Americans and most other Westerners need a visa to enter Laos, but they can apply for a 30-day visa on arrival at certain airports and border crossings. Bring a visa-sized photo and $50 in cash, or apply for an e-visa online before you fly. They can also apply for a 30-day extension once you're there. For a visa on arrival, I brought both proof of exit tickets and accommodations ready to show officials upon entry, but they did not ask to see either. Okay, retirement visa. Laos does not have a retirement visa, but it does offer long stay visa options that are suitable for retirees and other long-term visitors. These visas can be renewed annually and offer a way for foreigners to stay in Laos for extended periods. Every expat I met holding a long stay visa had used visa agents recommended by other expats who had used them. The total of government fees and agent fees expats shared with me range from about $400 to $600 per year for the long stay visa. Rather than promoting any particular immigration agent or lawyer, I would request a referral to a visa agent on one of the expat Facebook pages I shared above. Real estate. Foreigners cannot own land in Laos. However, foreigners can lease land with structures or lease land and build for decade leases with the right to extend the lease period. Personally, I would not recommend putting down such permanent roots in a foreign country until you've lived there for a few years, making sure you love it after the honeymoon period is over. I would also hire a lawyer who has no conflict of interest with me. Do not use a lawyer recommended by your real estate broker or your local lover. I would seek a referral from an expat who has used that lawyer's services successfully. Okay, Luang Prabang overall retirement desirability score. I would say hi. I love this city. Its colonial era charms remain relatively intact over the decades. It has that beautiful walking lifestyle that Europe excels at, which is missing from many parts of the world. The report also has a Luang Prabang Old Town walking tour and where we stayed and how I got to Luang Prabang, along with favorite restaurants, bars and nightlife and markets. There's also instructions how to take the 𝗥𝐺 Falls day trip, which is pretty reasonable, only like $5. It's a one-day trip. And then you need to visit, while you're in Luang Prabang, visit Vang Vieng on a 4-day weekend. I provide information about that, and make sure to ride the inner tubes down the river there in Vang Vieng while you're in town. It's a really fun experience. They also have hot air balloon rides, ultralight flights over the city, dirt bike rides, and you can drive 4-wheel quads around the countryside. And I also provide restaurants and nightlife places that you can stay and visit when you're in Vang Vieng on your 4-day weekend. Thanks for watching my video about how to retire early in Luang Prabang, Laos. If you'd like to find my top 15 places in the entire world to retire early for cheap in 2025, watch the video in the upper right-hand corner of your screen right now.